Good afternoon, my name is Patrick Austin Hardy and this is Solent Sports News. Solent ladies made history this week. The women's football team became the university's first team to ever reach the Bucks Trophy final. Captain Becca Cork explains how they have taken it game by game.
It was incredible. We definitely was the underdogs throughout the entire competition. Like every game we were just like, oh, we'll get to the next round, that'll be amazing. But I don't think anyone actually believed in the semi-finals we'd beat Nottingham. They have like 3 teams, we have the one, so it was a great achievement to beat them.
And whilst there was success at the local level, at the national level it has not been so great. The heat on England ladies manager Phil Neville reached boiling point. Goals from Kristen Press and Carly Lloyd saw off the Lionesses in their She Believes Cup opener against the USA, in which the USA won 2-0. It was the Lionesses' 6th defeat in 9 matches. Neville thinks it was a learning curve for his side.
Ultimately, the best things for this team is to keep suffering against in occasions like this. The best occasions are the biggest occasions when there's a big crowd and there's tension and you're playing against the best players.
Women's football writer for The Telegraph, Katie Wyatt, joined us in the studio and offered her thoughts on Phil Neville's future.
I think that there are so many questions about whether they have actually pushed on since the World Cup semi-final and the World Cup quarter-final against Norway, which was kind of their best performance under him. I don't think we've necessarily seen them develop at all since then, and if anything, probably are going backwards. So I think there's the point where you need to ask serious questions about not necessarily whether he's the right man for the job at this stage, but why he's sort of failing to, it feels, get the best out of them at this moment in time.
Despite having a few wrestling stars over the years like the British Bulldog and William Regal, Britain is yet to have its first ever WrestleMania main eventer. With Drew McIntyre winning the 2020 Royal Rumble, this is to change on April 5th. Our wrestling correspondent Sam Clark has more.
Scenes like this from the walkabout in Glasgow have become synonymous with British sports bars across the country. But don't worry, you didn't miss the Tartan Army actually qualifying for a major tournament. This reaction was actually for professional wrestling.
Claymore by McIntyre! McIntyre! Drew McIntyre's going to WrestleMania!
Scottish-born Drew McIntyre won WWE's Royal Rumble and earned himself the right to be the first Brit to main event the biggest show on the wrestling calendar, WrestleMania.
Here is your winner, Drew McIntyre!
BBC wrestling journalist Gary Cassidy believes that the reaction can only be compared to fans of a Football World Cup.
The funny thing about the videos that have essentially gone viral of Drew McIntyre winning the Royal Rumble is the kind of thing that you never see really with wrestling. You do see it a lot with football, mainly when a country is celebrating their team winning a match in the World Cup.
Over 40,000 fans standing in appreciation for Drew McIntyre.
And I think that's the thing that sets it apart, because I was actually in the building in Glasgow watching the Royal Rumble at Walkabout.
Hi, I am Jennifer Louise for Insane Championship Wrestling.
In the 2010s, British wrestling went through a boom period, with Insane Championship Wrestling in Scotland leading the way. And following his release after his original run with the WWE, Drew McIntyre returned to his homeland to bring new eyes to ICW.
I think definitely the impact he had was bringing, a much more familiar face to people, where people were up for going to their local promotions to see folk they know, and then generally fall in love with the stars that they didn't know, who ultimately were on their doorstep the whole time.
He is the king of JC!
Hi, my name's RJ Singh and I've been a professional wrestler for around 19 years now.
UK wrestling veteran RJ Singh has seen all the highs and the lows that have come in British wrestling. And with the first ever British WWE champion set to be crowned, he has said there's no better time to be a wrestler in the United Kingdom.
unlike me, if you're a younger guy now and you're just getting into wrestling, the world is literally your oyster, because not only do you have amazing opportunities with some of the biggest companies. You look at people like Mark Haskins and Martina, who were signed to Ring of Honor. You look at Kip Sabian, Jimmy Hammocks, and Sadie Gibbs, who are all signed to AEW. And then you look at the NXT UK roster. I mean, those amazing opportunities are there, and obviously with those guys.
RJ Singh is the reigning and defending 4FW Junior Heavyweight Champion.
Going on to those sorts of things, it leaves huge opportunities for work on the British independent scene. And, you could be working most weeks, you can work every weekend up in other countries. So I think it's an absolutely brilliant time.
With the potential for Drew McIntyre becoming the first ever British WWE champion, with many wrestlers travelling around the world flying a flag for Great Britain, and a thriving scene back home, it is quite clear that the British wrestling scene is the best it's ever been. Sam Clark, Solent Sports News.
Global effects of the coronavirus are beginning to affect sports. Since patient zero in Wuhan, China started the spread, world governments are doing their best to hinder further infections. In Europe, sporting events like the Summer Euros could be cancelled. Rob Bird investigates.
Outbreak of a mystery virus in China.
Coronavirus.
The coronavirus, formerly known as COVID-19, has so far taken over 3,400 lives, with 100,000 plus confirmed cases. The sporting world is now at an increased risk of grinding to a halt as countries try their best to contain the spread. Extra security, health inspections, closed stadiums, and altogether cancelled events. Football commentator Clive Tilsley is prepared to see the consequences firsthand.
I did have a weird thought at some stage that if there was a ban on public gatherings, I wonder whether remaining matches might be played behind closed doors with coverage on radio and television for people to watch in their self-isolation at home.
Both domestic and international action has been forced to stop or change in Europe's top leagues, with the Serie A in Italy now playing behind closed doors. And if further spread becomes impossible to stop and the virus mutates, competitions like the European Championship in the summer will close. Wales manager Ryan Giggs is one of many concerned figures ahead of this summer's matches.
Yeah, we're monitoring all the time. Every day it seems to be changing, and we just have to wait to see what happens. Hopefully everything will be okay, but I think at the moment everything's on the table.
Before we reach that stage, however, the Premier League will feel the impact of the disease, as the elite clubs do everything they can to shield their players, including a ban on handshakes. Even the running of day-to-day activities are now being closely monitored, with training grounds and visitor routines being altered. Newcastle head coach Steve Bruce says the cancellation of games is surreal, but the severity of the situation is no joke.
It's hard to imagine, isn't it? But obviously they're doing it now in Italy, and it's something we're probably going to face. We all know football is a way out for everybody, but people's lives are at stake.
The virus primarily transitions from person to person, either through indirect or direct contact. Health Secretary Matt Hancock wants people to remain calm for the time being.
We are not powerless in the face of this virus. We have the best minds and a clear plan of action. Everyone can do something, even if it's as simple as washing your hands more often. And in the coming weeks, it will be tough.
Further in Europe, Bundesliga games in Germany are also under pressure to be called off or closed down, as UEFA prepares itself for the potential fallout of the virus reaching the major population. Wolfsburg director Nico Briskorn shone some light on the matter.
For example, players don't do selfies together with fans, so it has an influence on the daily work. I don't know the strategy of the league at this point. I know they have a task force for this topic.
The advice at the moment: wash your hands regularly, avoid contact with those infected, and don't touch your face, with the spread of the virus only predicted to get more severe.
And that's all we have time for today on Solent Newsdays. We will be back next week for some more breaking news. I'm Patrick Austin Hardy. Thank you very much.